days that we've done the walk and talk. All other days have been from yours truly in my living room. DML hasn't been feeling well. The weather's been terrible. Confluence of it all. But we still put out the videos, so we still keep our streak going. I think I'm over 2 months now, every single day. So I'm letting the crowd build up a little bit here. A little bit of a different route today. Don't know if we're gonna hear the bells or not. Also gonna be a little shorter today than usual on the usual walk and talks. Why, DML? Well, still not feeling the best. Trying to keep myself from getting too sick before Christmas. So anyway, what do we got? One more second, I'm gonna start diving in. And okay, so who knows how many people we're gonna have. Few things to just bring out to you as I try to avoid the parking lot of different cars here. Boy, it's busy. I don't like this route. Hope we still hear the bells. Anyhow, first and foremost, if you ordered DVDs and you have not gotten them yet, you must send an email right now to tv360dvd@gmail. We will track them. If for some reason they are lost, we will send you a priority. But there is at some point where I can't send the priority anymore. So the post office is overwhelmed right now. So please send that now. Put me to the side for a second, send it now, and then come back. All right, we got a whole staff right now working on these emails and trackings. That's that. Okay, now let's get into the nitty gritty. I talked about some of this last night. I'm gonna bring it up again. We're gonna talk about what happened with these electors. I want to re-emphasize what I've been saying to you for so long, and that is, I sell hope. Hate to use that word right now, but it's the word of the week. I sell hope. And the reason why is because anybody can sell gloom and doom. These other guys, these other gals can get on and tell you all day long, this bad is gonna happen and that bad is gonna happen, and oh my goodness, recounts and electors and John Podesta and all this other different stuff. I didn't take that tact with you. I took a different tact. How is this gonna work for us? Instead of how is this gonna hurt us? And so far, that kind of strategy has worked for me time and time again. It has worked for you. So I don't have to go back and say, well, I was really wrong on that one. You know, nobody could question me and say, hey, you said that it was... Nope. I've said everything to you accurately the entire time. The entire time. I told you the electors were going to be just fine and dandy. You had nothing to worry about. I said, there's nothing to worry about. And you thought, wow, this guy said this and that guy said... There's nothing to worry about. I told you the Jill Stein thing was just a headline grabber. It was going to go away. Nothing to worry about. I told you Trump was going to win the election with the Electoral College. I laid it out for you. Whole thing. Here's the next thing. Okay? Here's why I'm bringing that up. There is nothing, God willing, that stands in the way of Donald J. Trump and Mike Pence and his team getting into that White House and taking care of business like he has promised to take care of business. There is nothing. Do you understand? Nothing. Although the media is going to continue to try and create things like the Russian hack, and they're going to try to continue to hit him at the knees, and we're going to continue to hear things like fake news. In fact, would you believe it? There is actually now a university here on Long Island called Stony Brook University that is actually now putting out a course for students about how to identify fake news. I am absolutely blown away by this. Blown away by this. It is almost inconceivable how stupid people can be. There has not been one situation where anybody has come forward and said, I cast my vote based on being misled by news. Not one. Why doesn't anybody bring that up? Why isn't anybody saying that other than yours truly? Nobody. I don't even hear it on Fox News. I haven't heard anybody come forward and say, where is that one person who was misled by news they read and cast a vote and wants to take it back because they found out it was not true. Where is that person? Where is that example? Where is the hardship? Because understand this. If you sue somebody for damages, you just can't say, I'm going to sue this guy here at this restaurant because I just want to sue him. You're not going to win. You have to prove damages. So where's the damage? Where is the proof in the damage? Forget about the proof of actually whether something is fake news or not fake news. Where is the proof that people swayed their vote and said, now that this is the case and it's different than before, I'd like to have my vote back? Where is that? There's none of it. And so again, I'm telling you, you can hang your hat on this like everything else I told you. This fake news thing here is just the beginning layer of how it is that they will try to make it a silencing game, a silencing game where you and me across the street without getting killed, you and I, and all websites that try to put out fair, maybe in some cases conservative viewpoints. I'm not talking about conspiracy theory, crazy stuff. I'm talking about real, legitimate news sources, people who check their I's and cross their T's. This is an assault on them, on us, in the extent that they're going to try to discredit us long term. Now, this is very important. This is very heady stuff I'm giving you, okay? I've told you before, you know how I like to use personal life analogies to sort of set the example so you can understand. I've told you before about me being a football coach. When I took over the team with this other guy, the team was 5-5. It's always the same kids on the team. Small town here, so you kind of carry the team. We had them. We went 8-2. We went 9-1. We handed them back over to another coach. They went back to 5-5. Same kids. Why? What was that success based on compared to the mediocrity of 5-5? It was two things. Number one is we were able, well, if I wanted to go egotistical, I would tell you it's three things, we're the greatest football coaches in the world, but that's not the case. It was that we elevated them to believe in themselves, that they could accomplish what they wanted to, and that when they made mistakes, they didn't have to put their heads down, that they keep their heads up. That's one thing. That's, my thing is, that's why pencils make erasers. We all make mistakes, we learn from them. But put that to the side. Let's go into the part where it applies here. The other reason is because from an offensive standpoint, I always could get in the brain of what it was that the other guy thought I was going to run. Was I going to pass on this play? That's what he's expecting me to do. I'll run to the right. Or he thinks I'm going to run to the left on this play. I'll pass to the right. So they were completely unprepared for us. So not only did we go 8-2 and 9-1, but we would win our games like 40-6. I would actually have to tell my guys to stop scoring. And it was basically because I was able to play call. I mean, they had to execute the plays, the kids. But I would be able to play call based on what I thought the other guy was thinking. I understand from being in the media for as long as I have, I understand politics, and I understand how those two worlds come together. Right now, the media isn't thinking about today. And when I say the media, I mean the mainstream media. They're not thinking about today. They're thinking about tomorrow. You live in today. They are living for tomorrow. They understand that the only way to get back control of what they have now lost, they have lost control of DC, they have lost control of pretty much the courts, that's coming, and they have lost control of the messaging. That's the biggest thing. It's all about messaging. They want that back. And so to get that back, they want to stifle the growth of people who have a message that differs from them. Because ultimately, it was the Twitter and the Facebook and the going through social media that helped get Trump's message out to people. It's really what it was. I talk about this guy, Joe, from Right Side Broadcasting, his brother, Jake. We do stuff all together. I hope his family understands how integral they were in getting Donald J. Trump elected. Here's why I say that. It's little things like that. And I know I'm jumping all around, but you know me, it will all come together. When Donald J. Trump first started doing his broadcasts, his rallies, the NBCs, ABCs of the world, they wouldn't turn their cameras to show the size of the crowds. They just had the very tight shot. But they wouldn't go like this. They wouldn't go like that. You couldn't see all the trees. It was very tight. Joe, who knew some stuff about video, didn't really have a business at that point, saw that Trump was getting frustrated with this. Why don't you show the crowd? Why don't you show the crowd how big it is? They wouldn't show the crowd. They didn't want to show the crowd. So Joe said, why don't we start going to these things and live streaming? I'll show the crowd. An idea was born. So he goes and he brings his cameras and he puts them up and he shows the crowd. Finally, people get to really see how big these crowds were. It wasn't a major player who triggered that. It was a small guy. It was one of us, so to say. It was the guy who you could have run in tomorrow into at the laundromat or the whatever, the 7-Eleven store getting a cup of coffee. Nobody famous, nobody you would have ever known. That guy went out and said, hey, now I'm going to go to every single one and start streaming them. He didn't go out and pill people from journalism school. He put people who were, carpenters or electricians, and he taught them how to use a camera. And now all of a sudden Trump fans are behind the camera for Right Side Broadcasting. And because he gave people the opportunity to see the live stream all the time, they got the real full sentences, not the short little sound bites. The power in Joe and his team and the ability to get that message out to, at some points, I mean, he's had people 2 million views, 3 million views on YouTube. He'd get 60, 70,000 people at a time watching the stream, the full stream. These people really started to understand the message. These people started to feel the enthusiasm. And so NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, MSNBC, CNN, they were no longer in control. I'm writing this book right now called They Lie to You. And that's what it is. Guys like Joe Seals at Right Side Broadcasting put the power back in you. Do you understand? Again, it's a little heady. Forever, the power has been in the messenger, not the message. Because the message has been controlled by the messenger, and the messenger has been the broadcasts. The messenger has been the press, the mainstream media. Joe gave you the power. He put the power back in the consumer. The consumer was able to say, I'll be able to tell you when I'm ready to click out. I'll tell you when I'm done with Donald Trump's sentence. I'll tell you what I want to see and what I don't want to see. Because the way that these news outlets work is they no longer show you what you need to see. They show you and tell you what they want you to see. Huge difference. So a guy like Joe, who starts an idea with a $2,000 camera and a whole bunch of energy and patriotism inside, changes the landscape of an election. This is the first time I've ever been saying this, by the way, because Joe and his team are the most humble people in the world. They're from Alabama. He's got a beautiful wife, 2 kids at home. She's pregnant. He's 30-something years old. Guy, every time I talk to him, I feel like I'm talking to myself 15 years ago. He's trying to build the whole thing up. He's trying to balance home, trying to balance work. He's got a direct line into Team Trump. I mean, it's an amazing thing what this guy's done. And I don't think he understands that without him, without that sort of thing, that putting the power into the seat of the consumer, we may not have gotten the message out about Donald Trump as much as we did. And so that is why crackdown happens. Do you know how many times YouTube has just for no reason at all come back to Joe and said, your ability to live stream is gone? Yeah. And do you know what they give as the excuse? Because at the Trump rallies, sometimes they would play music in the background, like, who knows, Billy Joel or Elton John or something to that degree. And while right side would put their cameras on, for the first 10 seconds, maybe the background music got caught, and then they stop. If you ever watched the right side broadcasting, you know that what Joe does is he plays his own music, and it's silence. You can't hear anything until Trump comes on, because he tries to get away from this ridiculous license infringement that gets bestowed upon him. Yes, it's crazy. It's like right now, this guy in this house starts playing Barbra Streisand music on his lawn, and I'm talking to you like this, and then all of a sudden in the back you hear, the way we were, chances are, right? And then all of a sudden, Facebook takes me down and says, because there's a licensing infringement that I've done against Barbra Streisand. I'm in a public spot. That's crazy. That's crazy. They have taken him down numerous times because of that. And yet the Trump campaign has to turn around and stomp their feet, and then they come back. Who does that? Have you ever seen CNN or NBC or CBS have to put on fake bland music in the background to protect against background music? I mean, what about when you're watching the World Series and they start playing in the back maybe a Van Halen song, right? Or whatever the song is. Is there an infringement case brought up? No, there's not. So this sort of stuff is the things that you don't hear about. These sort of stuff is the things that don't get reported. But these are the sort of hurdles that we're up against. And a guy like Joe Seals is up against. Why? To get the message out. That's not fair. That's not the American way. And yet that's what happens. So I go back to the whole thing about the football games. I used to think ahead. Whenever I'm doing everything, I always think, put baseball. I'm playing in the first inning, but I think in the ninth. Okay, if I'm doing well here, who am I actually going to have pitching in the ninth inning? Dennis, what are you worried about? It's only the second inning. Nah, because I'll tell you what, if I'm not prepared, when the ninth inning comes, I'm going to have my pants down, and I don't want that to be the case. So the media realizes the fact that it got caught with its pants down. They didn't think Donald Trump was going to be able to pull off what he did. They didn't think about guys like Joe Seals or Dennis Michael Lynch being up there and explaining to you, listen, man, the Electoral College ain't going to work like that. It's going to work like this. Boom, 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 boom. And I just don't say it because it sounds good and I throw it against the wall. I explain to you why that is. Here's why. Do you remember with Ohio, how I explained to you that Ohio has picked the president, more or less, for God knows how long, right? And that he was clearly winning in Ohio, but they wouldn't give him Ohio early on like they gave him, I don't know, Montana, because they knew if they gave him Ohio that early on, that the entire narrative would change. The narrative would be, well, you realize the fact that if Donald Trump wins Ohio, he's going to win the presidency, right? That's why they did that. I understand that, and I deliver you that message. You didn't hear that anywhere else. So what they want to do is they want to cap how that message gets out there. Or they want to immediately put a flag on it as, this is fake news. You got to watch out. Are you sure you want this person? And these are the tools they use. So it becomes I'm telling you, I don't scare you. You know that. I'm not into the scare tactics. I actually had somebody send me an email last night and said, you know what? The thing I love about you most is that you can tell us this stuff without having to scare us to tune in. I'm going to try to make you happy. But I've also told you, I'm going to tell you when there's times that you have to be scared. Thinking ahead, ninth inning, thinking ahead to the next play, knowing what it is they have in their head, we're going to have ourselves a real problem. We're going to have ourselves a real problem because in a couple of years from now, when these classes at Stony Brook and Notre Dame, and I'm calling out colleges, I don't know if Notre Dame's actually doing that, but all these colleges start putting in fake news classes, it's sort of declaring it's true just by saying fake news. You get what I'm talking about? I used to be partners with John Scully, the former CEO of Apple and Pepsi. We had a business together. And he said to me, one of Apple's strategies was that we would always declare victory even before we played the game. Because if you deemed yourself as number one person in the space, I am the best in the space. This is the best. This is the best. We are the best. People start to believe that you're the best, that you won. Game hasn't even been played. So that's what they're doing now. They're designating this stuff early on. So this way, fake news, and I've seen it already. I'm watching it. You guys send me emails. Prior to fake news being fake news, having the term coined, Nobody ever sent me, ever. I can't find an email in the hundreds of thousands of emails I have. Anybody's ever said fake news. Never. But now it's a term. They have coined it a term. And even Republicans are using it. Even Trump is using it. Even I'm now talking about it. So they're very creative in the sense that now they have designated fake news as something that's real. And it's not. It's not. The real fake news really comes by and large from the large, very large outlets. That's where it comes from. Inaccurate reporting. Or just, here, I'll give you something that's fake. You ready? What about if you just leave something out? What about if you don't report something as being false? Like, in other words, if I made my report today of saying to you, it's raining out, well, that's a lie. That's fake. But what about if I just leave something out? What about if I just leave it out? By omission. Yeah. It's not always putting out something that's misleading. It's sometimes not saying anything at all. Omitting something completely from the story changes the narrative. So you get this. I'm hoping you get this. So when we go back and we tie it all together, it comes down to Donald J. Trump won every step of the way. And he took the electors last night, and I told you he would. And you could rest easy. You could celebrate your Christmas or your Hanukkah or whatever it is you celebrate, knowing the fact that there are no more potential trapdoors. And please do not write the word assassination on my page, okay? Please do not do that. Some of you have done that already. And if you want to talk about getting yourself kicked off every social media platform there is, okay? Trust me when I tell you, that's what you're begging for, okay? Don't even talk about that sort of thing. And that's the next crap that these scare tactic people will start to telling you, that they have an inside. I know somebody on the inside who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Can't tell you who, but I hear there's going to be an attempt. There's not going to be any attempt. Let me tell you this, okay? You ever watch, I don't know if you'll see it again. My studio is almost finished, by the way. Some of this stuff we'll be doing every single night. We'll be doing DML reports from my studio. But there is a pin I have. It's a Secret Service pin. I always wear it on my jacket. I got it from a Secret Service agent. And he once told me there isn't a day that goes by where the President of the United States doesn't at least get 10 to 20, depending on what's going on in the world, death threats. Every single day there are death threats to the President of the United States. So you know what? And they look into every single last one of them. So don't be stupid and start writing this stuff or listening to other people who tell you that they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Let me tell you something. They don't know anybody, okay? Anybody who tells you that they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, they know nobody. Remember I told you that. Okay, if you know somebody, you don't say you know somebody, all right? That's that. All right, we move on. We move on to the psycho lunatics known as the Islamic terrorists. You know, the JV team. You know, the people who Obama just simply call the extremists. Yeah, well, he can't admit that Islamic terror is just growing like a weed fed by steroids. But the rest of us who have brains in our skulls, we realize the fact that this guy, Mr. President Barack Hussein Obama, is crazy. Yeah, remember that song? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Yeah. Okay. So a guy takes a truck, or two guys take a truck, and they just turn around and ram through a crowd of people over in Berlin, killing, the last time I checked, I haven't been on the news now for about an hour and a half. I've been on the phone, conference calls. My God, am I busy? 12 people dead, more than 50 injured. You know, years ago, if you go back and you look at all my Kelly File appearances or just on Fox News in general, even just earlier this year, but I really want to go back 5-6 years ago. I used to say this all the time. I remember, actually, go back. See if you remember this one. In Canada, the real first, if you will, lone wolf thing that caught a lot of attention was up in Canada. If you remember, the guy went into, I think it was sort of like a Capitol building or, some government building. He went in with a gun, which is very unusual in Canada, right? And shot the place up. Well, Shannon Breen had me on as a guest. And by the way, Shannon Breen, I think, is the most beautiful woman at Fox News. When you see her in person, stunning, stunning, stunning. Yeah. So anyway, so she had me on and she said, what do you think of this? I said, what you're watching here is going to be how this grows into an unbelievable epidemic. In fact, if you watched They Come to America 3, I think I have a portion of that clip in there. I said, this is the epidemic. The lone wolf is the most dangerous thing facing us because they can hide in plain daylight. That's the difference. They can hide in plain daylight. So the world of terror has changed in such a way where it's no more just be battling itself over in Syria. It's now right in your backyard. It could be your neighbor. It could be that guy who you sort of look at crooked, or it could be the guy who just smiled at you before he gave you a Slurpee. It could be any one of these people. Once they become radicalized, they realize the fact that they could create absolute terror by going to get a U-Haul truck. They don't have to blow it up. They don't have to set off bombs. All they have to do is run down a group of people. Yeah, think about it. That's terror. You know, terrorism is all based on the fact that whether it's going to happen or not, it scares you into living your life differently. It's really what it comes down to. So anybody right now who's in New York City Christmas shopping, you know, it's supposed to be, they want you to be like this, looking over your shoulder. You know, is any trucks coming? Every truck from now on that you see that's a U-Haul, you know, you're going to start looking like this. That's the way this is. We're going to put out a post. We're going to put out a survey later today, if it's not out already. I need to hit the publish button, asking you whether or not you think these sort of lone wolf attacks are going to increase in the United States, really start coming over here like they are over in Europe, or do you think that Donald J. Trump is going to be able to stop this? My personal take on this is that Donald J. Trump is not going to be able to stop it. Not at the beginning. Not at the beginning at all. Until we kill, and I talked about this last week, so I don't want to repeat too much, but until we kill the brand of Islamic terror and show that if you kill people, innocent people, this is what's going to happen to you. That's how you kill a brand. This is going to continue to fester. It's going to continue to get worse. And then when you add into the fact of how many people we have already taken into this country from the Middle East region, and you take into account how many people we're about to take in from the Middle East region, because the ball has already been moving. Donald Trump isn't necessarily going to be able to go in on day one and stop that ball, although he will probably start to take some sort of measures. But the price is already paid. We've already got these people coming. You know, I don't know if you know this or not. Again, if you didn't watch They Come to America 3, you probably don't. Right now, we take in more people legally from the Middle East than we do Mexico and Central America combined. It is the number one growing, fastest new immigrant demographic we have in this country. And so when you take that and you take the fact that, you know, we're out shopping and we're out trying to live our lives as Americans, and we don't think like they do. How many times have I told you before that the hardest part about stopping Islamic terrorism is the fact that we can't put our heads inside their head, because they're so irrational. They're so willing to just kill themselves over absolutely nothing. If you think about it, you know, they're trying to do Allah's work. You know, I mean, we can't get our heads into that. Who does that? I've talked to you about this a million times, and at the sake of being repetitive, I think it's the kind of message that needs to be heard. You know, Rudy Giuliani, one of my favorite guys in politics, says, look, we could catch the Gottis, we could catch the Al Capones, we could catch the petty criminals or even the bigger criminals, because we say to ourselves, okay, even though we're not criminals, how do we steal this money and get away with it? How do we steal this car and not have it traced? How do we bury this body? These are things that we can try to figure out, because the criminal at the end of the day wants to get away with it. The Islamic terrorist doesn't want to get away with it. They want to die. They want to go up and get their virgins. Yeah, okay. As if that's going to happen. But anyway, so to get into that mindset, it's very hard. It's very hard to catch them. And that's why, that's a side note. You know, I talk to you about these words. Don't use words like assassination and stuff of that nature. Don't do that, man. All you're doing is you're putting binoculars and a spotlight on yourself. Stop talking like that. You know? I know not all of you do it, but some of you do. This woman's looking at me talking on the phone. Yeah, meanwhile, she's got a Tesla. Yeah, Tesla, electric, go green. Where's the Obama sticker? Biden. Yes, we can't. Yeah. They look at me when I walk by. Maybe she's looking at me and saying, where's this guy's gloves? He's out of his mind. He's saying how he feels sick, and meanwhile, he's got no gloves on. I forgot him. Yeah. So anyhow, so the whole thing come back to the Islamic terror that we watched take place. I don't want to scare you, but I'm a betting guy when it comes to putting what I think is going to happen down on the table. You're going to start to see this stuff increase here in the US because it's very effective. The days of having to recruit people to go over the Middle East to train them to be fighters, those days are over. They keep on getting smarter and smarter, these folks. They wait a second, grab whatever's at your disposal. You don't know how to make bombs? You don't need a bomb. Go get a truck. You don't have a truck? Go get a car. Go anywhere. They're starting to look every time a U-Haul truck. Let me tell you this one. For those of you who don't live in New York, for those of you who do live in New York, think about what I'm about to say. If I were to rent a U-Haul truck right now and drive it into Manhattan, I'd have one of a few different routes I can take. I could go over one of the few bridges that we have going into Manhattan from Long Island, or I could go in through the Midtown Tunnel. Same thing applies on the New Jersey side. You want to go into New York, same thing. There are a number of bridges, and there is 2 tunnels. So if I'm going through the Midtown Tunnel and I got a truck, odds are high that I'm going to be pulled over and they're going to open up my truck. They're going to look for contents, bomb making stuff. Well, all right, I got no bomb making stuff. I'm just going to take this truck and I'm going to ram it into the people who are on Fifth Avenue right now doing their shopping. How do you stop that? How do you stop that? Go even a step further. I go into the Midtown Tunnel right now and I don't have a truck. I got an Escalade. I got an SUV. I'm not getting pulled over. Nobody's pulling me over to check what my contents are. Yeah, so I mean, if I went in right now to New York City and I did a live, I could guarantee you there'd be 2 or 3 trucks pulled over to the side. You'd see it. They're inspected. Nobody's inspecting SUVs. Nobody whatsoever. So these people go in. You give me an SUV on Fifth Avenue. Yeah. So how do we stop it, Dennis? That's the thing. You got to stop it at the door. You can't let all these people be coming in. That's really what it's down to, okay? You cannot allow this many people coming in. You just can't. Because on top of that, and oh man, sometimes I wish I didn't know as much as I know, because it keeps you up. It keeps you up. I mean, it's like, it's one of those strains where one ties into the next, and the next ties into the next, and the next ties into the next. And it's like, that's the hardest thing about making the They Come to America films. It really was. The hardest thing about making the They Come to America films is when to stop them. What to cut. Because I could really make a 15-hour movie and still not be complete. We do not have the wherewithal to screen the people that are coming into this country in a manner to where somebody could really look you in the eye, Donald J. Trump, or Dennis Michael Lynch, or Rudy Giuliani, or Mad Dog Mattis, to look you straight in the eye and say, you have nothing to worry about. I'm telling you, obviously there's always a little something, people go deranged, but we've looked into this person back, forth, upside down, all around, none of his relatives, nothing, no connections at all to any terror whatsoever. This is a good Christian from the Middle East. This is a good Muslim from the Middle East. We don't have the wherewithal, okay? We do more rolling of the dice than you realize. More rolling of the dice. And for some stupid reason, haven't heard those in a couple of days, have you? What's going on? How's it going? First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to keep my health intact so I could have this nice walk. I've been missing you for the last 3 days here in this location anyway. Although, I have been talking to you on a daily basis. And I want to thank you. Thank you for everything. And big day coming up. I'll be walking by. Until then, thank you very much. Over and out. All right. Haven't had that in 3 days, right? That was like, It was like a drink of water to a thirsty man. Yeah. All right. So we go back, and I'm almost gonna conclude and wrap up on saying that we have no way of looking you straight in the face and telling you that you'll be okay and safe with these people coming in. There's a certain level of rolling the dice, hoping they get in and get along. We took a look at them. With the amount of people we have coming in, over 1 million people legally coming in, all the people coming in through the border, which we can't even put our hands around how many, because you got the ones you catch and you got the ones you don't. And you never know how big the crowd is that you didn't catch. That's the fact. There's no way around it. I don't care who tells you differently. I don't care if it's Obama. I don't care who it is. I've been down there. I've been with these Border Patrol agents. You can talk to one agent and say, how many people don't you catch? He'll say, we think it's about 25%. Talk to another guy and say, how many do you think you don't catch? He says, I had to guess it's at least 75%. All I can tell you is this. I've watched these guys try to catch people. It is brutal. Brutal. They are outnumbered in a way that you just spin your head. Brutal. Okay, so we have people coming in here. We don't even know how many we have coming in here. We have no way of truly vetting these people. The only way to truly vet these people is to shut this down almost to a bare minimum. You don't come in here unless you provide us with some sort of value, not us providing you with the value. That's the way it has to be. It has to be this way until we can catch our breath. There's no other way about it. This immigration bus has to slow down to a crawl. And I know some of you would actually say it's got to come to a stop. President Barack Hussein Obama said the other day, he said, even if you were to stop immigration 100%, America is going browner. This is the way he talks, this guy. Yeah, and we're the racists. It's going browner. Now, the reason why he says is because the birth rates of the people who are already here, white people have stopped reproducing, and brown people, using his terms, brown people are pumping them out like little, all over the place. Oh, here you go. Let's just keep on pumping them. Boom, 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 boom. White people are like, maybe we'll just have one. Do you want to have a kid? Maybe we'll just have one. It's very expensive to have a kid. Yeah, so that's what he's saying. Now, he loves that. He loves that. I go back to my old interviews. I remember saying it. Very first, in fact, if you look at the trailer for They Come to America 1, it's not in the movie. I didn't put it in the movie, but it is in the trailer. First TV interview I ever did for the movie was a small thing out here called in New York, WPX 11. And the guy said, is this a protest film? What kind of question is that to ask me? Is this a protest film? Yeah. Is this a protest film? Because I'm putting an American face on illegal immigration. Is this a protest film? There you go. That's liberal media right there. I said, no, it's not a protest film. It's a Wake Up America film. Because in the years to come, these are my exact words, in the years to come, illegal and legal immigration is the number one issue facing this country. That's what I told him. I'll repeat it because the phone call came in. It'll probably try to come in again. Illegal immigration and mass immigration is the number one issue facing this country in the years to come. Yours truly knocked it out of the park. And that's what it is. That's what it is. So we have ourselves a massive problem. And yes, I am going to scare you because this problem is not going to get fixed overnight. I know many of you, and this is why I'm setting the expectations low here. I know many of you are chomping at the bit for the wall. I have something to tell you, which I've told you before. The wall isn't going to be the magic medicine. Get ready for that. The wall's not going to be the magic medicine. The magic medicine is turning off the spigot. Turning off the spigot. Turning off the jobs, turning off the visas, turning off the refugees, turning it off. That's the magic sauce. And deportations. You start sending people home. you start turning off the spigot, you start doing the whole Americans first thing, which he talks about. He talks about with great pride and determination. No reason here thinking he's not going to do it. But that's what, when you hear that the wall hasn't been built right away, don't panic. Don't panic. He may know what yours truly knows. I wouldn't be surprised, because I think that there are other people around him, if he's even talking about this stuff yet, you know, without having to do all the other different interviews and everything else, they're telling him, listen, we just got to turn off the spigot. Well, the wall will come. You know, that's window dressing. And that's that. So, all right. So I talked to you about the terror. I talked to you about Obama. I talked to you about the media, fake news. I'm going to get into a little bit of the wow section here. My hands are cold. I'm switching back and forth. I'm going to go longer than I said, because I know some of you guys, you're like, hey, man, we missed the walk and talk. We missed the walk and talk email. 3 days. The amount of emails I got in the last 3 days asking me, what's going on? You giving up the walk and talk? My wife says to me all the time, she's like, these people love the walk and talk. They love it. And I had other people last night over the last 3 nights, because I've been doing it out of the house and I've been doing much shorter. They're like, I like the night version better. I got news for you. I got news for you. You're getting both. Yeah. You're getting both. See, there's always a to my magic. Away. Walk and talk's also going on the road, as I told you. I took you to New York City last week. When we get back, you know, to the new year, when Christmas is over, New Year's is over. And by the way, I'll be on vacation the first week of January. When that stuff, my connection is weak. I'm losing people, dropping like flies. I'm going to turn around and go the other way. Yep, they're dropping like flies. So anyway, for those of you still hanging on, we'll get to a better connection. I don't know why that happens. We've never had problems in this space here before, but we're having problems now. Yeah, I'm gonna show you. Oh, okay, still here. Your connection is weak. They're keeping me on. They're spinning me. They're doing everything. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. We'll have a little bit of a smaller crowd. It'll be more intimate though. The connection is weak. All right, here we go. All right, it looks like we're back. Okay, we're back. Those of you who fell off, I see it's all coming back. You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything at all. I waited for the spinning to stop. But I've turned around now. I'm going down this way. I don't know why they have this weak spot over there. It's never been weak before. All right, DML, you're rambling. Get into it. All right, well, anyway, I was telling you about the fact that I have a vacation. Family's taking a vacation first week of January. And then after that, when we come back, my studio's gonna be ready. Thank you. My donation, the donation's unbelievable. Donation's still coming in. And by the way, you want to send them in? DennisMichaelLynch.com/donate. I'm turning it back on. Why? Because I just see how much this is going to cost. When we were raising the money, there was no such thing as fake news. Now I'm seeing how much harder they're making it. But I'll wait. I'm going to let you guys see some great advancements first before I go out and say, hey, if you could double down or give us another little help. But the app, been testing it right now. Everybody's testing it. A couple of glitches. Small stuff like, you know, I'll tell you what they are. We're talking, right? We're friends now, right? For those of you who just come in for all the serious stuff, part of the program's over, all right? So an example, if we put out a post and we post it, and then we have to go back and make an edit for some reason. Let's say the story changes, right? This Berlin story has changed now like 5 different times. We go back and we change it. Well, we hit the publish button to republish or update. What happens is the app is taking it and showing you the same article 9 times because we made 9 updates. So that's changing, you know, so you won't have any thing. But ultimately, we've been using this thing, testing it. Small group of us so far, 5 people. Then I have another group of 20 starting tomorrow. Then another group of 100. Then I'm going to start going out to some of you people who've been sending me stuff that says app. I'm thinking by the time January rolls around, we'll fully blowing this thing out. So thousands of people have already signed up to do it. I think by the time we're done, we'll get over 100,000 people. But anyway, so starting in January when I come back from vacation, walk and talk every day. And then at nighttime, DML report. Yeah. And I also want to tell you, though we haven't put our names on the papers yet, we have come to a handshake. Harlan Hill will be officially joining the new company. Yeah. DML, what's the new company? I'm going to put that out soon, right after Christmas. I'm going to give you the name. I've been holding it back just because I've been holding it back. I got my reasons. But we started all the paperwork we got to do. It's all set. And I think you're going to like it. I've taken a lot of the things you guys gave me. It's all there. So stuff is all coming too. I told you phase 1 would be first 3 months. Yeah. I come from that Donald Trump world where it's going to cost a little less for phase 1. It's going to cost more for phase 2 though. Phase 1 is going to cost a little less, and we're going to come in faster than 3 months. Yep. That's the way we roll over here. So anyhow, that's going to be that. You're going to have twice a day DML. In fact, you're going to be twice a day today, because I'm going to do it again tonight. I'm just going to pick one topic, go for 5 minutes every day, twice a day. And then in January, it will be walk and talk, and then from the studio. And Harlan is now searching for a New York City office. We're going to have a New York City studio. It's going to be so cool. Wait until I set this stuff up. You see how we have this with rotating cameras and rotating room. Oh, you'd be like, DML, I love it. I know. It's going to be so rocking. So rocking. So anyhow, let's get into the wow section here. All right, here's the wow. The wow is the segments that I watched with Oprah Winfrey, also known as race baiting Oprah, and the other race baiter, Mrs. Michelle Obama. The interview, I didn't watch it as a whole. I've watched it in clips. I couldn't bear to watch it as a whole. I watched it as clips, and I just sit there and I laugh. Michelle Obama is more dangerous than her husband. She really is. You know, she hasn't gotten the play that he got, obviously, because she's not the president. But let me tell you, when you really sit down and you watch her, she's more dangerous than he is. And I'll tell you why. She's smoother. See, Obama, the thing about him, you know, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Who sang that? It's the only words I know. Maybe that's the only song in the words in their song. Baby, I'm crazy. It's true. So anyhow, Obama doesn't know how to hide his emotions. Terrible poker player. And that's all because daddy abandoned him when he was a little boy. Didn't want him. Yeah. See you later. He didn't like that. He was all bothered by it. It's been affecting him his whole life. He's been trying to prove to his father that he's worth keeping. DML. Did you go to psychiatry school? No, but I should have. Actually, I don't think I need to. Why give the liberal schools any money? This stuff isn't hard to figure out. Gotta have half a brain. So yeah, he's been trying to prove to daddy and to the world that he's worth keeping. That he wasn't, don't throw me away. And so that's why he's an overachiever. And that's okay, nothing wrong with being an overachiever. But that's why he gets angry. That's why he gets so emotional. Because basically, he's an emotional guy. He doesn't know how to hide it. Michelle Obama, on the other hand, you play poker with her, different story. It's like she's wearing shades, man. You can't see the eyes. She understands what Barack doesn't understand. She understands how to curb the emotion. Now, yes, she does come off, I think, as an angry black lady. Those are her words, not mine. She used those words last night. Oprah asked her about the whole comment about her being an angry black lady. I would have just said an angry lady. But then I wouldn't be fitting into the racist mold that they want us to go into. It's amazing. Oprah Winfrey and all these people, they use terms like, yeah, so what do you think about the fact that people called you an angry black lady? I would have never said that. I would have just said you're an angry woman. She's angry. Just like Barack Hussein Obama. You know, somebody funny on here, one of the trolls the other day said that I was very disrespectful to the president because I gave him this fake name. That's what you're dealing with. Do you understand? That's what you're dealing with. She didn't think his real name was Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah. News to you. That's his name. Yep. Bells for a second time. You know what that is? That's the stamp of approval from from good old God telling you, yeah, it's his name, Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah, I would never lie to you. Why would I lie to you? Why would I call him Barack Hussein Obama if his name wasn't Barack Hussein Obama? So anyhow, she, and Oprah used that term. And for those of you who remember, because she showed me the first 3 pictures. I said, okay, I've had enough. You remember I told you the story about asking Mary to marry me when I was dressed as Santa? She's got that picture of me actually taking the ring, so you can actually see for yourself. I think she's got another picture up there of me, my dad, my grandpa, when I was a very little boy. And then I don't know what the other one is. But I don't know. She's got some stuff up there. So anyway, if you want to check that out, you can check that out. But I go back and saying the fact that I told you weeks and weeks ago, when the election, I think it was like the day after the election or 2 days after the election, I said to you, just want to let you know that you're going to watch. People are going to start coming out and asking Michelle Obama to be the president for 2020. They're going to start to recruit her. You watch it. People like DML, why are you talking about this already? I said, I'm telling you right now. Because the Democrats have nobody. I've sat down, I've done the analysis, I've tried to figure out who it is that they could actually pull and try to beat Donald J. Trump, especially after this guy is going to get stuff done, because he's going to get stuff done. And so when he's getting stuff done and they don't want that stuff done, they're going to need somebody who could actually beat them. And they got nobody. They got one person in the camp, and that's Michelle Obama. And Michelle Obama, oh, you're going to love what I'm about to say right now. You'll be like, DML, boy, do you really think this stuff through? Michelle Obama can win. Yeah. I know you're DML, she cannot. I can't stand her. She's this, she's that. I'm with you. But at the end of the day, she's electable. Yeah, she's electable. Why is she electable? She's electable because now she's an Obama. Okay? She can actually get the whole first woman / black woman thing. That's a tribute in itself. 4 years from now, when there's another election, as Barack Obama has told you, we're going to wind up having more brown people. For what that means, I'm not sure what that means for him. But ultimately, what it means is that I think he's saying these people are going to vote more Democrat. That's how I would just say. I would have just said we're going to have more Democrats in the country. But he's a racist, so that's why he says that. But anyhow, so we're going to have more of those people in here, more refugees. The ability, these people all coming in here, new legal immigrants coming in massive waves. You're going to be able to vote. Yeah, you see it, man. She's going to be the champion for that. It's going to be bring back Obama. It's sort of like when Billy Joel was on tour, and then he stopped touring for years, man. He stopped touring for years. He was just gone. Everybody's like, where's Billy Joel? He hasn't made an album in 20 years. Now the guy comes out. He has sold out Madison Square Garden. I think he's going now on like what? 60, I don't know which show I went to. I think I went to the 60th show. He keeps selling out and selling out and selling out. Every month. Sells out and sells out and sells out. Why? Because people wanted him back. They wanted him back. And they showed him, this is how we're going to keep buying your tickets. And they don't want him going away. Because they know if he goes away, there's nobody else to fill Billy Joel's shoes. Come on, there's no other Billy Joel, So that's where they go with the Obamas. These people, there are some people who think that Obama seriously is the best president in the world. They think that he's the best one we've ever had. And they look at Michelle Obama and they love her. Love her. Okay? Love her. And so what does she do? Here's where it comes the wow part. She told Oprah that she wouldn't even think of it. Not even think of it. Wouldn't do that to her kids. It's not, and then the conceited cockiness. It's not fair to ask one family to do it all. Like, in other words, her family, sorry about that, that little ugliness that just came down from daddy's nose. But anyway, so, her family can't ask our family to do that. You can't ask us to, we know we're the smartest people in America. We know we're the best, but you can't ask us to come back. You can't ask us to do that. Well, all right, maybe you can. And although I really didn't want to do it, although I laid it out for Oprah Winfrey that I really don't want to do this, I swore I wouldn't do this. I said I wouldn't do it to my kids. But then again, 4 years from now, wow, my kids aren't kids anymore. They're adults. Well, that's something that's changed. And my goodness, the country's so bad now with Donald J. Trump. I have to save the country. I have to go against what I really wanted to not do. I just wanted to go into the private sector and just let the cycle of America continue to cycle. But you know what? I'm looking around and there's nobody else but me who can do this. And Barack Hussein Obama will be right next to me. And we can make America ungreat again. We can fundamentally transform the untransforming of the transformation. What did you say? Can you say that again? Yeah, exactly. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. I'm placing the bet now. Whew. Yep. After the Oprah thing, you know, bookmakers will make it, oh, odds are 1,000 to 1. Yeah, because bookmakers don't know what they're talking about. Okay, I'll take that bet right now. Whew. $1 down for 1,000 back. She's going to be in. She's going to be in. No doubt about it. Yep, you remember you said it here first. She said to Oprah, it was so painful. It was so painful to watch this election because we all need hope. We need hope. You know what I'm talking about, Oprah? Bring it on, girl. Bring it on, girl. And if you run for president, I'm going to buy everybody a new car because I could do that. Because I made billions of dollars. Yes, interviewing liberals throughout my entire career. And yeah, screw Donald Trump. Even though I interviewed him and I really liked him when I interviewed him on my Oprah Winfrey show. But now I'm going to be evil Donald. Yeah, cars for everybody. Vote for Michelle and you get a new car. Look underneath your seat. There's the keys. Yep, it's coming. It's coming. DML, we love your predictions because they're always right. But this is one prediction I will not like. Yes, I know. And Donald J. Trump will have a very hard time winning that election. Yes. Come on, DML. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. Yeah, well, you better start buying. You better start listening. Because here's the thing. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right? If he gets all the things done, which I think he will, or at least a good part of them, people aren't going to like that. So they're going to come out in droves. The people who stayed home, they're going to come out. They're going to try to undo what has already been started to be done. Yes. And when you get somebody like Michelle Obama, ooh, it's going to be momentum. Think about it. You ready? All right, here comes the DML lesson. Oh my God, am I going to layer you into it stuff? Christmas, you will be the most smartest person in the room if you weren't already. Although you probably won't want to talk about this crap, but it's my job. So I kind of put it out there. See, when you run for president, or if you're thinking about it, yours truly kind of knows this, there's a few things that you've got to overcome. And it's very hard to do. First of all, it's name recognition. You know, guy like myself, I've been on TV numerous times, radio numerous times. Millions of people have seen my films. Most people don't know what my name is. Go ask your person next door. You know Dennis Michael Lynch? They say, no, I don't. You show them, they like what they see, now they know. Yeah, but you know how long it's taken to get to 1 million people on Facebook? It's taken me years. So you don't have years in a campaign to get name recognition. You know, remember Carly Fiorina? You had never heard of her before that. I did, because, you know, she's from Hewlett Packard, not from the computer world. But, you know, people didn't know who Carly Fiorina was. They were like, who's this? You know, so it takes a long time to get name recognition. Then there's the whole thing of raising money. You spend so much time trying to raise money, you really can't be out getting the name recognition. And you can't get money if people don't know who you are. It becomes a very, very difficult, ugly, terrible process. That's why Donald Trump was so successful right off the bat. Donald Trump said, I'm running for president. They're like, whoa, billionaire running for president, plus the guy apprentice, blah, blah, blah. You know, he had total world name recognition, and he didn't need anybody's money. He had the billions. Okay, Michelle Obama, probably the most other than Hillary Clinton, the most recognizable name in the world, right? She'd get money. She'd just snap her fingers. She's got 3 right now, 3 super PACs begging her. Money's not a problem. Name recognition's not a problem. Obama at your side campaigning. You know, she's gonna have the media. You think the media was swarming on Hillary? Come on, the media. See, here's the thing. The media was pushing for Hillary, and half of them couldn't stand her. Now, the media is gonna wind up pushing for somebody they actually like. This is nothing. This was nothing. So if he's half as successful as I think he's gonna be, he's gonna have himself a hell of a time, because he'll have changed things that people didn't want changed. And these are the people, obviously, that we're not going to invite to our Christmas party, right? So anyhow, that's the problem. And the Obamas just see themselves as superheroes. They really do. They see themselves as superheroes. And what do superheroes do? Superheroes save the day, right? It'd be no fun right now if I was walking with Superman and all of a sudden a guy was here who's going to look to hurt me and be like, oh, thank goodness Superman was here. Boy, what timing. That's not fun. The fun is me sitting there saying, Superman, where are you? Where are you? Makes the movie all the better. Makes the drama. Superman, I need help. Right? And all of a sudden, in comes Michelle with her Supergirl costume. Whew. Yeah. Oh, yeah. DML, you are so right. I know. All right. That's the wild part. DML, what are we going to do today for story time? Gee, I didn't plan that far ahead. What do I do for story time? I got to tell you a good story. Ah, boy. How could I tie it? Can I tie it to the Obamas? Nah. Had enough of that. Terror? Nah. Oh, I need something on the upswing. Haven't stepped on anybody else's dog, do. It's just Billy Joel. We already talked about Billy Joel a little bit. I've already told you that story. What other story can I tell you about? Oh, boy. I'll tell you what. Why don't we tell a story? Tell a story about, I'll tell you a story. A little bit of violence in the story. Yeah. But it goes with me. I'm thinking about my daughter with the whole Instagram thing. Boy, I hope there ain't a picture of this story. Anyway, so this is a high school story. What do you think about that? Yeah. I think my daughter is looking today for a picture of Mary and I from high school to put on the Instagram account. Like, you want to see that. I told her, I don't think this is going to be as successful as you think. I think only you care about this, sweetheart. And she said, nope, Dad, I'm telling you, that's how Instagram works. I said, okay. So anyway, she was asking Mary before I left, Mom, where's that picture of you and Daddy when you went to the prom? So, I'll tell you a story. So, Mary lived, gotta be 10 miles from where our high school was. We went to this high school called Holy Trinity High School in Hicksville. And so, she lived about 10 miles away. I lived 8 houses away. And I had a car early on. Mary didn't have a car. So, believe it or not, I used to every morning get up, could have drove to school and been there in 13 seconds or less. But I used to drive to her house, pick her up, and then drive her to school. So she didn't have to take the bus. Oh, DML. How romantic. I know. I didn't have a lot of gas money at the time, although I was working as a kid. Used to work in a pizza parlor. Yeah, flipping pizzas. One of many jobs. But once ate a whole pie in about, 20 minutes by myself. It's delicious. I love pizza. Yeah, if they were gonna like electrocute me tomorrow, I'd be like, what do you want as your last meal? I'd say pizza. Yep. Sure you don't want a steak? A little scotch? Pizza. Maybe a little pepperoni. A little meatball. Buffalo. Did they put buffalo chicken on there? Yeah. So anyhow, and I wonder why I got 9 chins. So, they don't do that on Fox. You ever see Sean Hannity go like this? No. Yeah. I like Sean. But anyway, so go back. So I was driving her all the time so she wouldn't have to take the bus. So at school, when school was over, same thing. I would drive her home, So that's why I told you. The day I met her, I knew I was a marrier. So since then, I've been, driving her here and driving her there. It cost me $1 million. Jeez. Oh, you feel me, guys, right? Yeah. Oh, the price of love. So anyhow, this particular day, it's snowing. And it's snowing bad. And she's like, listen, I don't want you to drive me. It's too dangerous. Let me go on the bus. The bus had the big tires, the chains on it, and all this other stuff. And, common sense kind of kicked in. I was like, yeah, all right. I won't drive you. I'll let you go on the bus. So she's okay. So her sister is 2 years younger. She was a sophomore at the time. We were seniors. So they get on the bus. Bus is packed. Snow is horrible. I mean, one of those snowstorms like that Al Gore's like, maybe there is no global warming. Oh boy, can we just turn off the snow? One of those. And so this guy in the back, now I don't know if you guys remember this or not. They don't have it like this anymore. My kids tell me it's not like this anymore. But when I was a kid, you had the jocks and you had the burnouts. That's the way we designed it. That's what we called it, the jocks and the burnouts. Anybody who played a sport was a jock. Anybody who smoked weed, did drugs, wore leather jackets with a chain wallet, wore long hair, listened to Ozzy Osbourne, although to be really true, the jocks listened to Ozzy Osbourne more than the burnouts did, yours included. Remember Crazy Chain? Or I am Iron Man. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I think it was Crazy Train or whatever. But anyhow, you know, these guys, so you had the burnouts and the jocks. Burnouts and jocks didn't get along very well. So there was a burnout in the back. You know, the burnout sat in the back of the bus. And so about 4 miles, halfway home, burnout stands up and says, yeah, we need to go back to the school. My girlfriend forgot her pocketbook. So the bus driver, being intimidated by this burnout, who was a pretty big guy, probably about 6'3", they're like, oh, I really can't go back. It's like, you know, this little woman, 4 foot nothing, driving a bus like this. You know, it's snowing out. I shouldn't really be doing this. I can't see you. Yeah, one of those things, yeah. So the guy's like, we need to go back now. Put a couple of explicits in there in between to the lady. So Mary's sister and all of her friends look at Mary. Oh, don't screw with Mary, man. I tell you, don't screw with Mary. 100%, 110% maybe. Full Irish. Don't screw with Mary. You saw her last week. She was a little upset at DML. What did she do? First time walked ahead, right? Remember that? Yeah. So anyhow, Mary's like, we're not turning around. And the burnout's like, shut up and sit down. Bad move. So Mary says, we're not turning around. So now the bus driver doesn't know what to do. And Mary's like, we're not going anywhere. We're going home. And by the way, who's your girlfriend? The girlfriend wasn't even supposed to be on the bus. No, she wasn't even supposed to be on the bus. So the guy walks down the aisle and says to Mary, sit your effing ass down, you C-word. C-word. Mary went, do you know who my boyfriend is? Because if you don't, you will. So the bus driver went back and got the bag. And then back in those days, there were no cell phones. So Mary gets home and asks her dad if she could use the phone. Remember those days? Can I please use the phone? Is it a local call? Yeah, but it's not. So she calls me on the rotary. 7 3 1 7. That's all I'm gonna tell you. So anyway, she calls me and she comes back and says, I got home okay. I was like, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long? And she's like, there was a burnout. She actually said his name. I'm not telling you the name. There's a burnout on the bus who forced the driver to go back to the school so she could get the bag. And when we went back to the school, it wasn't even open. So I'm like, who? Now, I didn't know the burnouts. I'm just, you know, I'm all jocks. Plus, I'm a senior. You know, I'm one of the big dudes on campus with all my other jock friends. You know, I'm like, who is this dirtbag? So she says, she gives me his name. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I said, you know what? We'll take care of this guy on Monday. She goes, I got something else to tell you. I said, what is it? So she says, well, he had some things to say to me. Like what? Well, he called me my body started to tremble. Are you kidding me? She says, no, I'm not kidding you. And I'm telling you this, and I'm asking you, please don't get into too much trouble. And I said, I'll take care of it. So the next day, we go to school, and we had half days. We had like tests. And so Mary and I shared a locker. You know, we used to make out between every class. Remember those days, right? The bell would ring, you'd go back, you had a couple minutes, we'd be sitting there making out between classes. Yeah, good old days. I don't know. Gotta get back into making out. You guys make out anymore? Who makes out anymore? Does anybody even make out anymore? We used to make out. Remember making out? Making out was fun. Making out was fun. You know, you go back to class, you'd be like, I really hate school. Right? Yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait for the next bell to ring. It was like every 40 minutes, you just got this shot of adrenaline. It was just like, ah. Oh, I loved it. Now it's sort of like, you know, when the bell rings at home, it's like, yeah, you know, you're right. We're together in this. I see all the laughs. Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm with you, DML. I'm tired of being tired. I'm with you too, man. You know, make out? You kidding me? Choice is making out or it's pizza. I'd be like, hon, can I have some pizza? What are you gonna make out? Can I have some pizza? She's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Anyway, my God, how life changes. So, oh, how life changes. You know, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna make out. I don't even know if I remember how to make out. It's sort of like riding a bicycle, right? I guess you still remember. Make out. I didn't make out. You know, my kids would be like, ew, Dad, what are you doing? Yeah. I think Mary might be like, ew, your breath. God. That's the way. Yeah, you get it. You know what it is. Still a family show. I'm not saying anything that I don't have to say. Not bad. So I go in, me and Mary at the locker, and we ain't making out because I'm on all radar, man. Where is this guy? Where is this guy? Where is he? And so here he comes, walking down. I'm like, oh, okay. This guy's a little bigger than I thought he was going to be. Gonna have to work a little harder. So he comes and he sees my wife, my girlfriend. I predicted that too, by the way. And his face was just slowly but surely like, oh, that's the boyfriend. Ugh. I was afraid it was him. Yeah, no word spoken. Didn't need to be any word spoken. So I grabbed him by his leather jacket. And it was like, I don't know, man, it was like the parting of the sea. You know what I mean? It's just the party, like the kids just all went away. They went to the side. And I grabbed this kid, and one locker to the next locker, to the next locker, to the next locker. Bang, boom, 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 boom. Just went down the whole row of lockers, just with incredible, like, rage strength. And as the kids were all clearing, I take them into this locker. Boom! And just as I know, all right, this guy can't take many more lockers. Maybe just one more. And I take them, and it wasn't a locker. It was the glass doors that led to the stairway. And I threw him through the glass doors. And I was like, I'm in so much trouble. Because on top of that, coming down the steps, go figure this one. Isn't the world so full of irony? Coming down the stairs was Mrs. Liberados, the Spanish teacher. And she says, all right, Lynch, come with me. So as I'm walking this guy, and he's behind me, and he's just all besides himself. He's got chunks, shards of glass all over his leather jacket. Everybody's just sitting there. I can't believe what I'm leaking. So anyway, she's walking down, and we're walking down together. And I'm like, listen, you're in one piece. That's the good thing. If we get down there and you don't say that this was just a simple mistake and that we were just screwing around, what you just witnessed was nothing. Do you understand? So we got down there. Mr. Baglioli, never forget his name. Baglioli. What a name to have to go through life with. Mr. Baglioli sits us down. And he knew. he knew right away. He knew right away. But here's the thing. See, hard work pays off. Here's the thing. Oh boy, am I really telling more of this story than I should have. But here's the thing. Mr. Baglioli knew that I was a pretty cool guy. And I used to work for the gym teacher, Mr. Guarino. Mr. G, we called him. And remember I told you I did pizzas? Well, I wasn't doing pizzas. I was digging dry wells. Right? Remember that? Back in the old day when high school kids actually dug dry wells and worked and had jobs to do? You know, the jobs that, illegal aliens do and Americans don't want to do? Yeah, okay. So I used to dig ditches every day after school. And then when I wasn't working at the pizza parlor, when my shift wasn't. So anyway, he knew, Mr. G and all the teachers liked me. Mr. G, actually, well, I know he's probably collecting his union pay at this point. I'd probably keep that story to myself. But Mr. G knew that when the burnouts got out of the line, that he would call his buddy, the ditch digger. So anyhow, long story short, Mr. Baglioli didn't even ask me a question. Looked right at Mr. Burnout and said, "What happened?" And he said, "Mr. Baglioli, it's just a mistake. Just a total mistake." And Mr. Baglioli said, "Well, I really need to know the full story, what happened." And then yours truly went. He called my girlfriend and made the bus go back for the... And guess who got in trouble? Not me. Dirtbag. Yeah. There was justice back in those days. Justice. Now? That would have happened now? Oh my God. I mean, forget it. Forget it. I'd be on MSNBC. Rachel Maddow would be doing a whole thing. Tonight, there's this guy, a white racist, and he threw a boy through a glass window. Yeah, that's the way it would have been. Different story. Different life. Boy, do I miss the old days. Anyhow, there you go. Before long, you'll hear it. MSNBC. CNN clip. That was a CNN clip, right? CNN clip 8 years from now. Wolf Blitzer. Dennis Michael Lynch has officially said that he's going to be running for the President of the United States, but this man has anger issues. We know all about his singing routine. We think he might be mental. And, oh, by the way, he threw a man through a glass. Do we want that sort of thing in America? Yeah, Wolf. We do. Anyway, I have now come back to the busy road. Went longer than I had. Officially frostbitten hands, can you see? Oh, my goodness, Lord. All right, until tonight. No, not even tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to come back again. It's like a 2 for Tuesday. Tonight, probably about 9:30. Right before I sit down and watch my movies. Till then, God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless the United States. And God bless burnouts. Over and out.